E-King Fight News, you know what it is, back at it. HBO head. Peter Nelson, that's the head, right, of HBO Sports right now, doing a god-awful job. You know, it would have been, you know, I criticized Peter Nelson in the past for basically losing out on Manny Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn, Vasyl Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux. Oh my goodness. If Jim Lampley was calling that fight, I mean, just imagine, like, I can imagine Jim Lampley just going off and just, you know, loving every moment of it, you know? And I'm actually happy that he didn't have to commentate. And oddly enough, I can thank Peter Nelson, the head of HBO Sports, who clearly has some issues because HBO has taken a nosedive in terms of ratings, in terms of popularity, and in terms of having the best fights on their network. I'm talking the marquee fights of the year. They had Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko as their fight of the year. Did they air that fight live? No. They didn't. They didn't. Showtime aired it live. HBO had a tape delay. Shout out to Boxing Scene. HBO Sports head speaks on early 2018 plans for the network. And shout out to Steve Kim. I think you'll see beyond the fights you'll see in January, February, March that you just listed. Well, also see the return of Danny Jacobs. So he's talking about 2018. We'll see the return of Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez. In everyone's hopes, we'll be facing another. And right now, they're hunkered down in negotiations with one another. Peter Nelson, executive VP of HBO Sports. We remain optimistic about that. And while the two sides are talking, we feel like the big fight that everyone wants to see will end up happening. So, I have a feeling he's talking about Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Well, what other big fight is he talking about? He's talking about, we remain optimistic. Okay, so he's talking about, Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez. That's done. We want that. They're going to have that in. The return of Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs needs a big fight. There was, I've heard a speculation of Danny Jacobs' next opponent. The opponent, damn. I know there was some rumors going on about Danny Jacobs' next opponent, but the name doesn't ring a bell. So the return of Danny Jacobs versus, someone, that should be a good fight. And here's the little hint. We remain optimistic about that, and while the two sides are talking, the big fight that everyone wants to see will end up happening. Okay. I think that's Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Is that all he has to say? As for Jacobs, who began with HBO by defeating Luis Cubas Arias in the Barclays Center, he's also talking about, I think you'll continue to see the development of fighters that had breakout performances. Dmitry Bivol, Saddam Ali. Okay, so they're gonna have Saddam Ali back. I think it's 50-50 competition that we're looking for. Okay, so probably Miguel Roman, Mickey Roman, Sorung Desai, that's already booked. So the same guys from last year, is what they're trying to say. Whoever won last year gets another shot on HBO. And of course, the light heavyweights. Dmitry Bivol, Sergey Kovalev. Top Rank has better BF, so they got to work that out. They got Sullivan Barrera. I mean, Barrera Bivol, that's heating up. That's heating up right now. Dmitry Bivol The word on the street is he's accepted the VADA testing. That's intriguing as well. That's great news to hear. So obviously it was just a matter of time. He had to sign up, right? So it's going down. Dimitri Bivol versus Sullivan Barrera with drug testing. And HBO trying to get back into the game. But honestly, right now, their schedule is Sor Rungvisai and Canelo Golovkin in May. That's 6 months from now. You know, what they're gonna get the tape. They're hoping to get the tape delay of Joshua versus Wilder. So we'll see what happens with it, man. HBO, man, they've fallen so far, and I think a lot of it is management. E-King Fight News. And who's on top of Showtime? Steven Espinoza. Richard Schaefer's back in the game. Of course, Al Heyman is the fucking king of this shit. Bob Arum still hanging around. That guy, Bob Arum, man, he's got a heck of a network setup with ESPN, Top Rank. A lot of people wanted to give Top Rank Promoter of the Year. I don't know, man. Bob Arum, I don't think he's the Promoter of the Year. I don't see it. He just got that sweet deal with ESPN, and he said, "Fuck you guys at HBO. I'm going over here," and that was that. He just said, "Fuck HBO. I'm done with you guys. I'm going over to ESPN," and HBO done fucked themselves. Straight up. Man, Bob Arum. Although, the one reason you can give it to him, there's a reason that you can give the best promoter of the year to Bob Arum. Because right now, he's got the top 2 pound for pound guys in the sport. He's got Vasyl Lomachenko, and he's got Terrence Crawford. So one way or the other, he had his eggs in the right basket. He found the right guys. And now, he's building them up. He's trying to build them up. And Vasyl Lomachenko, he's moving along well. He's been fed opponents. And yeah, maybe he was fed Guillermo Rigondeaux. Maybe. But at the same time, I can't believe I said that. I can't put that out like that, man. I just have to cut it off.